Like I said, Ghost Stories is all about kids dealing with a haunting at their school. They even get teachers involved, as well as a talking cat! Or more appropriately, I guess you could say this series has its own version of Thackeray Binks. And usually when ghosts get involved, that's an excuse for some really haunting imagery, no pun intended. Especially in an anime, which adds a further element of weirdness because Japan has monsters and folktales most Westerners aren't familiar with. And it's kinda there, getting creepier as the show continues, and yet it could be a lot creepier. Like I said, this was made by Studio Pierrot, and if you're an anime fan, you're probably already groaning. If you're not, Studio Pierrot are the ones mostly known for animating Bleach and Naruto. And while sometimes their work looks good, other times, yeah. And unfortunately, Ghost Stories is not immune to this. The designs are a lot looser and sloppier, except for sometimes in close-up shots. It just doesn't look very good at all, and that can affect how well the creepy imagery scares you. The music does a decent job at mood setting, but overall the effect doesn't really work. But here's the thing. None of that actually matters. Hear me out, because this is the real reason you want to watch this anime. See, there are certain anime where either the subject was just so generic or the series was weird enough that the English dubbing staff could get away with messing with the script a bit. And I don't mean just throwing in a few lines, I mean basically changing the entire dub in favor of a more comedic take on it. This is what we call a gag dub, and if done right it can turn what otherwise would have been a pretty boring anime into something much more fun. And Ghost Stories has one of those dubs. And, well, just let me show you some of it.
There's nothing to be afraid of, teacher. Monsters only get evil people like Republicans, and we're not old enough to vote. Kaya just showed up on the day of our mother's funeral. Our dead mother? You feel bad now?
Whatever. Just fill the hole filler.
Sure, jackass.
What the fizzity-yuck was that?
Let's fizzity-yuck and find out.
Do you have any books written by black people?
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the hell's happening here? These are the fastest lip flaps I've ever had to sink!
Drop the Krispy Kreme, Serpico! We need your help
You
here!
my house look like my father and my brother after 9 answers with
Yeah,
Wasn't that amazing? However, humor is subjective, so there's a small but vocal group of people that are begging for this to be redubbed with a real English translation. And on one hand, I can kinda understand where they're coming from. Before, if an anime was dubbed into English, that was the only way we could get it here. So you had to take the dub or miss out on it entirely, no matter how crappy the dub was. But in the digital age, we have more access to information than ever. So if a new series comes out, you can find it with subtitles pretty easily, or at least know what the characters are actually saying. So if the official dub is inaccurate, fans will know about it and criticize about it. To their credit, though, most dubbing companies have embraced this, with some like Funimation even partnering up with official subtitling services like Crunchyroll, allowing for more accurate dubs than ever. But on the other hand, Ghost Stories without this kind of dub is actually pretty boring. Sure, the story has its moments, but without the actors goofing on it as much as possible, it's really kind of a generic haunted house anime. And here's a question, is anyone clamoring for a redub of Bobobo or Samurai Pizza Cats? No, because those dubs enhance the humor of the shows they're based on. They don't take away from it. And sometimes they even help us with jokes that would otherwise be untranslatable. In FLCL, Haruko talked about Jimi Hendrix instead of Japanese guitar legends because otherwise we'd have to waste time explaining them to an audience that's unfamiliar with them. And what do we say about explaining jokes around here?
If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke!
The point I'm trying to make here is, while most of the time accuracy is what makes or breaks a dub, sometimes it can help a series get further if you just have fun with it. Unfortunately, there's no magic formula. It really depends on what you're dubbing. However, if you really do want an accurate Ghost Stories translation, then let me offer this alternative. Give us a second dub track, but offer up the first on a DVD with both tracks intact. That way both sides will be happy. Because, at least in my opinion, this dub, as dumb as it is what makes the show worth watching. Without it, the anime would be at most okay. And let's face it, the dub is probably the only reason this anime achieved any notoriety. Without this dub, it would have been just another paranormal series that flew under the radar, but with the dub, it successfully becomes a so bad it's good anime worthy of my recommendation.
Be safe! Be safe! Be Satan!
I just hope that this redub, if it ever gets made, doesn't make people forget about this show, because I think this is one of the last dubs like it. I mean, it's not like we're getting some other stupidly hilarious anime in 2017.
2 is the loneliest number, Charles. Especially when you're second to a jackass.
Kaz Khan?
Hey, Helena.
Oh my god, I haven't seen you since Freddie Miles' party out in the Hamptons.
Come on, Kaz. The fans are asking for it. They want it.
Let's give him a thrill.
Kiss the woman, you magical bastard!
You know what, Helena? You don't deserve this big Toblerone.
Okay, I stand corrected. I guess that's what happens when you let Jaden Smith make an anime. I'm the Cartoon Hero, and I hope that all of you have a safe and happy Halloween. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go make a Netflix account pronto.